Hi everybody, this is Attorney Shah for another video on H1b. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the mistakes, the common mistakes that we are seeing on the H1b petition. Either it's on a transfer or what we call the new H1bs coming for this year, which is a 2016-2017. So one of the things that we are seeing and we have been seeing recently are a bunch of denials based one on the specialty occupations, but also based on the employer-employee relationship. What they are talking here are for mostly for people who are basically placing their candidates to a third party. So what we are talking here mostly are IT consulting companies where they are looking to place someone at a different job location or to a vendor and ultimately to what we call the end client. So the problem that we are seeing mostly is, of course, a specialty occupation, which is becoming a big thing, even though many times the USCIS is making mistakes when it comes to defining a specialty occupation. Still, we are seeing really unfair denials on those aspects. So having said that, now what happens when we are talking about employer-employee relationship? A few of the tips I can give you are, whenever you're preparing your H1B package, make sure that you're putting an itinerary of the services or basically the engagement, and you have to put the names and addresses of each of the locations or the vendors that are in between you and the end client, if there are different vendors, which is usually the case. And you have to also put a copy of the employment agreement between you and the conditions of the employment. Be careful, by the way, when it comes to the conditions of the employment. And also you have to put the copies of the contract of the third parties. For example, if you have a purchase order from your end client where you basically then your candidate will be working in your office, so you have to put that. And or if you have an in-house project, if you have an in-house project, be very careful. You better explain that project and show why you need someone who has those qualifications to work on this project. This is where the specialty occupation issues becomes a big problem, because oftentimes USCIS will say, we don't believe this is a specialty occupation because you don't need someone with a bachelor's degree to do that. By the way, specialty occupation is usually defined as an occupation where at least a bachelor's degree is required to perform. So make sure you have this. And also you have to give a lot of documentation proving, basically you have to show the chain in between you as employer and to the end client. And this is where a lot of people get confused. And if you don't have that, you are faced with a big problem. Now the biggest problem we are seeing for IT firms are the fact that since H1B is filed in April, the job it will be valid as from October 1st if approved. So oftentimes we have the question, how can you get a job that will carry up to there, since that person is not even in the US sometimes? Or what happens to the fact that you don't have all the the choices of how do you basically make someone start working on October 1st when you're applying on April 1st? Well, there are many situations like that. For example, someone can have an offer for a specific project which will start around October or after. Or also, many times, a lot of H1B employers now, especially consulting companies, what they are looking for are people who are already on some kind of working visa, like an OPT or H4 EAD or some other kind of visa where there will be continued employment after October 1st. That makes things a lot easier. But for those who are coming with no visa, basically coming straight from another country, coming in here in the US, then it becomes a little bit more difficult. And there's no really magical answer for that, except you need to find a company or an end client who's willing to wait, and that becomes a big problem. Unfortunately, USCIS have been after a lot of companies who have used fake clients basically to get an approval. So this is a do not do. You should not, don't do that. Don't put a fake client and later shift your candidate, because that will become some point of investigation down the road. So be careful on that. Having said that, now H1b is opening, so we advise people to start early preparing their cases. We are already right now in the month of February, and LCAs have to be started being filed as soon as possible. As you know, they are 6 months in advance only you can file LCA. So ultimately, candidates will not get the complete 3 years. It's usually like 2 years and 9 months or 2 years and 10 months. So be ready for that. It's not a big deal. You can always extend later, but at least you can get the H1B. And if you need help, our law firm can help you. You can call us at 510-742-5887. Very important right now is the fact that many people tend to try to cut costs and they go to non-lawyers to prepare those H1B cases, and we have seen disastrous effect of those, especially if you're using a non-lawyer who is not who or company which is not allowed to practice law. When they get busted for other cases, your company will be under investigation. So those are just few tips I can give quickly on new H1Bs, but if you need more help, feel free to call our office 510-742-5887, and you can visit our website piralilaw.com or attorneyonair.com. And everything I'm telling you today is for educational purposes only. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. The number to our office 510-742-5887, and this video doesn't create any attorney-client relationship. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back with another video on different topics. Thank you.